Hi everyone, it's Brianna here back with another video. A long time no see, I know. Life has been extremely busy, but without further ado, I did want to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is my vegan slash plant-based journey for the past 8 years. Now, a lot of people change their diet for many different reasons. For me, it was health related. I do want to let you know that if you are considering changing your diet or lifestyle, you always want to check in with your healthcare provider just to make sure that it's safe for you to do. This is not medical advice. This is just my opinion as a plant-based slash vegan for the past 8 years who also happens to be a registered nurse. So let's get started. So I started this journey because I cannot, for the life of me, digest red meat. It is very, very hard. I ended up getting acid reflux to the point that I would eat a burger and then end up just completely vomiting pure acid. That also led to other complications like me getting multiple cavities because my mouth was always heavily acidic. And it was really hard. I would get heartburn, acid reflux, the whole nine. And then I was also diagnosed with pre-diabetes. So it was not looking good for me at all. I remember having a conversation with my doctor at the time, and she was just like, listen, if you do not change your lifestyle, you're going to be on medication for a very long time and several different medication because it's just one thing after another when you're eating food that just does not agree with your body. So she suggested the Mediterranean diet, and I will say that diet is delicious. Do not get me wrong, but I was mainly a red meat eater. I love my steak. I love my burgers. I love, just red meat. So eating meat that was not red, like white meat, made me feel like I was on like this crazy diet, and it was okay, but it wasn't like what I really wanted. So I decided to transition to becoming a vegan. Now, it took me a whole year to actually become fully vegan. So I would just limit my meats from like several times a day to once a day to a couple of days out of the week, and just completely diminished it to like once a week, then once every 2 weeks. So it took about a year to completely transition from being a meat eater to just being a vegan. Now, on the journey, I had plenty of hiccups with eating a lot of fake meats and things like that actually caused me to have hypertension. So that was something that was extremely new. Now my blood pressure wasn't like super high. It just went from like 110s to 130s, and it was because I was eating way more sodium than what I was used to. When I was a regular meat eater, I would use Miss Dash or products that have very low sodium, but trading those foods for pre-packaged meals actually made my health decline in a different way. Yes, I didn't have the acid reflux anymore. No, I didn't have the heartburn anymore. No, I wasn't even pre-diabetic, but now I was dealing with a different animal, hypertension. And I remember my doctor saying, well, you kind of got that gene in you, that makes you more predisposed to becoming hypertensive. So I can do another video on what that gene is, but just to stay on topic, I was just like, wait a minute. So it really made me take a back seat into what it was that I was consuming, and then I realized that I was consuming about triple the amount of sodium that I was consuming when I was eating meat. So I made some changes and started to eat less of that stuff and more whole foods. But it was very difficult because I just was like beans, rice, potatoes, Oreos, they're all vegan. So I wasn't really necessarily making the best dietary decisions. However, because I didn't have the same symptoms that I had when I was a meat eater, I thought that this was awesome. This is great. This is an improvement at least. Eventually, my blood pressure went back down to normal, but I was still eating a lot of processed foods that are just not good for you. And that is something that I really struggled with in the beginning of my journey. There was times where I would flip-flop from being a vegan to a vegetarian because I just wanted to eat something that was not prepackaged. So one of my favorite dishes were like a pineapple fried rice with an egg, or bibimbap, which is fried rice with an egg and then some tofu, which found out that I'm actually sensitive to tofu. So I'm like, what do you eat? I ended up following the advice of my friend and just getting a cookbook because I was at a loss. Like, what is it? I want to eat healthier, but I just was like, where do I go? Where do I start? Like, I don't know. So nobody in my family ate the way that I was eating, and I was determined to do this the right way and not put myself in a bad situation to where I was just like, well, I'd rather have the heartburn again than have to deal with this. So I bought several books, and then I started looking online for different recipes so I can start fixing more whole meals. But I eventually started dealing with the fact that eating all that flour is not necessarily good for me as well. So it's been a journey, I must say. I will say that my health is definitely better than what it was when I was eating plant-based, but it's still an ongoing process because it's about figuring out what's best for me where I currently am in my life. And what's best for me is what I found out is not a lot of complex carbs, and more so of like bean dishes, falafel dishes that are baked, not fried. So less fried foods and more just whole salads and things like, so whole foods that don't require a lot of food processing. Things that I can make at home, a lot of smoothies, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, and hummus. That is where my body tends to do its best. That is when I'm eating a lot of whole foods that are not as processed as, most of the foods are today. So as I'm making this video, I am actually fully raw, plant-based, and I've been that way for almost 9 months. It'll be 9 months tomorrow, so yay to that. And I do not plan on staying this way. I just wanted to give my body a gift, and that was to experience and encourage myself to just eat more nutrients and just kind of go outside of my comfort zone of cooked foods and just eat a lot of just whole foods that are the least amount of processed as possible. So during this journey, definitely lost from the beginning to where I currently am right now. I started off at like 180 and right now I'm in my 130s. So I've lost a significant amount of weight since starting this journey. I did lose 20 pounds being fully raw, so a great amount of weight was lost during my current way of eating. After I'm done with this, I do plan on doing it for just a few more months. So yeah, after that, I will go back to being high raw vegan, and I'm really excited about that, which that just means eating one cooked meal a day, and then the rest of the meals will be fully raw. But I decided that I was more so going to lean towards being plant-based because with being plant-based, you can actually have honey and wear clothes that are not necessarily plastics. I feel like your diet is not just what you eat, it's what you wear, it's who you surround yourself, with. It's just all encompassing. And in this journey, I really started to think about everything that I was using, from hair products to different makeup products to also jewelry to the clothes that I was wearing. I was definitely becoming more sensitive to those sisters polyester, and I started to wear more wool fabric. But there's a common theme here. I always do what's best for my health, and that is the message that I'm sending to you now that we've reached pretty much the end of this video, is that I didn't become a vegan or plant-based because of any other reason but my health. And when it comes to making decisions like that, I suggest, my opinion is that people do what's best for them, no matter what that is. because you need to do what's best for your body. And for me, eating heavily processed food is not what's best. Eating red meat is not what's best, but that doesn't mean that that's the case for you. So if you like more videos like this, please do like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to have you here. And I'm gonna, make more videos about the different processes of, just changing your life for the better. When it comes to elimination and all that good stuff, is primarily where people should start when they're making lifestyle changes. But that's just my opinion. So thank you so much for watching if you made it to the end of this video.